In this video, we will be showing you how to schedule a new ward attender request within EPR. The standard operating procedure for this process can be found via EPR SUPs, which you can access from your desktop screens. To begin this process, you will need access to Chatbook and ensure you have full smart card access to the system. From the top banner, I'm going to navigate to the appointment inquiry icon, which looks like an eye, and click into it. Next, select the Request List tab. From the Inquiry field, drop down to Add Setting Counter. The Add Setting Counter is not a waiting list, but rather an appointment request from a clinical staff member. All ward attender appointment orders will be displayed on the Add Setting Counter inquiry queue. Our job is to take the appointment request and add an encounter or set an encounter. This action would depend on whether this is a new appointment request or a follow-up. In this example, we are following the steps for a new ward attender request. Only after we have done these steps will the patient be on a legitimate waiting list and will be viewable from the to be scheduled waiting list. From the request list field, choose the applicable request list that your new ward attender can be found on. Please note that up to 10 of the most recently used request lists will be saved at the top of this list. I'm simply going to drop this down to BT-HFT Cardio Ward Attender and click Find. This has populated a list of the most recently requested ward attenders. Please identify your patient's new ward attender request. Right-click, scroll down to Patient, and then add Encounter. From the Inquiry Waiting List prompt, select Yes to Is this a waiting list encounter? Next, you're presented with an available conversation box where you need to drop this down to Outpatient Referral List and select OK. From the Organization box, you never need to enter anything in the client name. Please simply add a location in the facility name where you know the patient is going to have treatment. So if you type in Bradford all lowercase and hit enter, you never need to select Bradford Teaching Hospitals in capitals, but simply the location where the patient will have treatment. For training purposes, we're going to select Bradford Royal Infirmary and again select OK. In the episode window, it is important to check to ensure that an existing open episode of care doesn't already exist for the patient with the same treatment function prior to completing a new episode. As you can see in this instance, patient has not been seen recently and no active episode present for the same speciality. Please right-click in the episode window and add episode. A new episode of care box will appear and you can simply press OK again. Now a new episode of care will sit at the top of the list with today's date in the created date column. Highlight the newly created episode of care and OK. Next, in the referral screen, confirm the patient's demographic details are correct. and then complete the remaining mandatory fields, which are noted with a red asterisk and highlighted yellow. RTT should be set to 98, not applicable, as a patient will already have had treatment but just needs to be monitored on the ward regularly. Post-treatment for either dressing, stitching, changing, or removing of any other stitches, and further assessments such as blood checks and BP checks, etc. Once this is correctly completed, select OK. At this stage, you will be presented with a dialog box with a FIN number and an encounter visit ID. Now, from the schedule inquiry window, the patient has now moved from the add setting counter to the to be scheduled list and is ready to be scheduled for an appointment. The request list remains as BTHFT cardio ward attender. Simply again select find. Select the appropriate patient from the list, right click and select schedule. Please note, at this point, do check to ensure that the patient does not already have an existing ward attender appointment for the same speciality. Please select and highlight a relevant time slot in the undefined clinics that are set up for all new and follow-up ward attenders. However, the clinic date will already be highlighted from the calendar based on this schedule within the date selected in the order. From the top right hand side, you can schedule the appointment. In the schedule box, change the appointment duration if applicable from hours to minutes and select OK. The specified date and time will now appear as a salmon pinky colour in the undefined slots and is now provisionally blocked. Now you may select confirm from the top right hand side. In the confirm window, select either yes or no to print a patient letter and press OK. The appointment will now change to purple. Please do note, if the ward attender date presented to the patient is unsuitable, you can use the suggest function to suggest additional dates and more options if required for appointments. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any further questions regarding this process, you can contact our team on the following details.